This is Art of Dino with some more Tartarian thoughts, this time on Giovanni Battista Piranesi and his Tartarian amazing artwork. I discovered this a while back and then rediscovered it again somewhat recently and decided to do my take on Via Imaginaria, which is his collection of a bunch of different monuments throughout time and of amazing architectural excellence. So I especially fell in love with this artwork because it's the guy who takes architecture very seriously, and then he went into the realm of imagination, which I always think is the best. So in this artwork, he really imagines. He's got stuff, pyramids in the background in the top distance. He just combines incredible architecture, and it made me really wonder what this guy thinks, because I saw a lot of videos on him and did a lot of research, and he followed an amazing artistic process, but no one ever really grasps what the artist kind of really may have thought. And you know, it's all theory, so art historian or art degree or whatever, everyone's entitled to their theories. So just from my artistic perspective, I really admire what he was trying to do by bringing back and showing the world these architectures. And I heard that a lot of people were really into prints at this time. I'm very similar as well. I love giving out prints because it really, people take their time and they look at everything, and you can always find new stuff, just like with Piranesi. His artwork is so richly detailed, the architecture is perfect. It almost looks like he used camera obscura or some form to make everything so perfect. But I also do believe that it's possible to do this without that, and with his imagination and with increased skill. Since he did thousands of these engravings, he definitely became a master. And so you can really grasp his perspective with his desire to show the people of his current time how important these architects were and where they came from and the mystery behind all this, because I can imagine at his time in the 1700s they still really didn't know where a lot of this was from. At any point in time, you always have to keep in fact that any type of war or any type of governmental change can always rewrite history. Within 100 years, like, certain people's opinions will get lost, or certain people's facts and truths will definitely get lost, and only kind of what survives is what some people want to survive. And the reality of everything could be a lot different. And so this guy was really putting in effort to show things that were probably going to be lost, because I guarantee if these were around during his time, there was a force that was destroying them at this time as well, at a rapid pace. And so he probably felt the need to just create these masterworks that would forever make people remember what was here. And there was some amazing stuff here before. Like this building in particular could have gone so far deep. It could be huge. Like, this is just a remnant of something that was destroyed somehow from some civilization that existed at some time. We really don't know, and it really could just be the tower of just some huge structure. And it makes me really think and wonder that what if all of this that we live on, that we exist on, is just a continuous building of some sort, like some civilization, whether they be giants or ancients, just kept building on something, the original creators, the original inhabitants of this place. Because it really seems like it, with all the tunnels in these cities and tombs. And look what these old buildings were and compared to what's happening now. It just doesn't make sense. These buildings are temporary now. These old ones were meant to last. They were like the main structure that works, uses the forces, the mathematical principles that just make sense. And they were all so strong, of such strong materials. They were designed to withstand floods, withstand any type of weathering. And they might go so deep. There really is a thought, like, you know, with all the, especially with all the tunnels and caves that exist and subway systems, you know, New York was purchased for I don't know how cheap, and then everyone that our ancestors built all these giant buildings. There's an old subway system. It's like, what? I did not believe that. Meanwhile, people were living in wooden houses, you know, didn't have electricity, yet they were able to build these monstrosities and carry all this material here, and these tops have no purpose. Like, come on, it doesn't make any sense. These buildings are just masterful creations by master architects. You know, if we're like Leonardo da Vinci's and Michelangelo's are like the type of people that are capable of creating such artworks like in the Renaissance that we know of, then what are these artists? Who are these guys? These these guys and girls could have been just absolutely anything. They are masters. These type of David-esque sculptures are all over the place. In every one of these buildings, these would take hundreds, thousands of artists. It would take a civilization of artists almost to make this stuff. And everyone just seemed, it must have been, it could have been anything. They could have been giants. They could have been a totally different breed we just don't know about anymore, that exist further and further on the plane. Maybe these buildings, I guarantee, if you were to keep going where it passed all the restricted zones, if you had a beautiful plane that could just keep going, you would find civilizations like this all over the place. Those crazy mountain areas of Tibet, the Dolomites, like all the New Zealand, like this, there could be stuff under and intermingling all these things, the Grand Canyon, everywhere. And just the fact that these were in America, these buildings, is astounding, because we were taught from so long ago that people came here in the Mayflower and all those other ships, and they just had a bunch of American Indians, Native American Indians, and yet they, like this, there was nothing here. It was just total nature, which I always love to think about, because I would love to exist in a world of pure nature. It'd be pretty beautiful and clean. But they never even suspect and tell you any hint of the fact that there could have been another civilization here that was just absolutely a marvel, building these creations beyond belief, mining copper, mining gold, using the ether, creating devices that capture that energy, free energy, existing in peace, harmony, boats, traveling all over the world, airships, using magnetic forces, any type of thing. That stuff is in this photographic and artistic record, and we must decipher it, because what we've been taught is just so much more bland, boring, and just spiritually deadening than what the potential for our true history really is. It's something so marvelous to be able to create all these, like these different angel-like structures and sculptures. Like there was a purpose for all of them, and we must figure it out. And we all must discover our spiritual side. It's essential for modern times. And this ziggurat of I believe, is in Iraq. And it's something that came to me in a dream. I've walked up those diagonal staircases in many dreams and explored this. And I've had so many dreams throughout my life about this place. And then I discovered that it really existed. And I believe this is the place in my dreams. It looks exactly like it. And so I find that very fascinating. I wonder how big this went up, or what was on top of it, if there was a giant sculpture there or something, or how deep it goes, or what its true purpose was. But either way, these exist all over Iraq and the Middle East, which has me very suspicious of why all these wars take place in these areas. This history, Babylonia, Mesopotamia, it's just an amazing historical record that people in power want destroyed, and it's really a shame. And this is just a little on a lighter note. The Bay of Naples, there's this beautiful zone. I believe it was even featured in the new Men in Black, which is kind of nuts. But this is something I decided to try and draw and imagine what it looked like or what its purpose was. And I obviously took some imagination into it and used my artistic license, but made a cool little artwork I wanted to share. And just a wonderful place. I can't even imagine what was here at one point, or what its prime was, or what it looked like in its prime. It's the boats that sailed around it, or that time period. It would be such an amazing thing if we could go back, even for a glimpse, and just see these things, experience them, or just know our truth, because knowing our truth would really help our entire world benefit. Like if we all could be joined by this, whether it's like we're tiny and there's something that created all this that's superior to us, like fine, something come and humble us. I believe we all need it. And to know that there's something greater than you really just gives you, it just humbles you on a universal level. And it's really essential, because the things that, or whatever created these amazing structures is just astounding, and their world is totally different than our social media, egomaniacal fantasy land that seems to be spreading culturally. And this stuff, going back, it just leads to a much more beautiful and perfect time. I truly believe we are all just one realization away from a universal moment of just incredible awareness and harmonization. We can make it happen. We just need to discover our truth. We owe it to these amazing ancestors to find it out. Thanks.